further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, now we're on to the remainder of the agenda. So we'll talk about staffing and we'll turn this over to Danielle.
So I have some straight backfills. Office of the Aging had an aging services aide for DM vacate, that went actually to a part-time position. County clerk, we have a retirement of a motor vehicle license clerk, at the end of February. The DA had a supervising assistant district attorney resign. Real property, we actually had the account clerk accept the position in DMV, so that position became vacant. And public safety, we had the EMS deputy coordinator promote to the EMS coordinator position, so now that position is vacant.
And those are just straight backfills?
Straight backfills.
Okay, and those are requests. We need to do a motion on those, Dan?
No,
No, I don't think you do, do you?
No.
My question is, who does the hiring? Is it the department head?
yes.
Well, what happens in real property? Is it Bob hire somebody?
Absolutely.
Huh?
Absolutely.
No, I'm just curious.
As of right now.
Or do you put that one on hold until you hire somebody?
No, we're moving on it. We're getting applications in. Yeah, we're moving on that.
No, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Board of what's permanent.
Yeah, but Lindsay and I'll figure it out.
Okay, next.
So we had a request from the Board of Supervisors. They wanted to change the staffing pattern and remove the vacant senior account clerk position and make it an account clerk position. We did try to recruit for the senior position and didn't get many applicants. So Deb feels that we can start with an account clerk position instead, where we just established a new eligible list. So we have some applicants we believe that could fill that position. So I'm just asking for the staffing pattern to be changed to remove that senior account clerk and add an account clerk instead.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Darrell, seconded by Cassie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next three were moved from committees. So we had the public defender request a change to the staffing pattern. He wanted to remove an assistant public defender part-time and make that position a full-time position. I'm asking for your approval on that.
We have a committee on there.
I'd approve that, or I'd move it, but I'd like to know from our meeting that's coming up Monday ahead of the Friday board meeting, they're willing to change the contract to pay for that.
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, we've got it. So who are we looking to for that answer? Discussion portion. Okay.
Finance?
Well, it's
What he
it's
said.
gonna be discussed
It'll
in
be a-
finance.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you're gonna discuss it in finance.
Okay, so then it.
And
can
the
just-
Monday, we are actually, is that, yeah, that's still meeting on
I
Monday?
think that meeting's been moved, I thought, but right now we're waiting for confirmation that the position will be funded.
That's what we're trying to.
So if, I guess the motion will be if it's funded, then we could change the staffing plan.
So that's your motion now, right?
Brian made the motion.
Pending funding.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
sir.
Brian made the motion, Darrell seconded the motion. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
This was moved from Health and Human Services. It was a request to change the staffing pattern to add 2 public health specialists for public health. I don't know exactly what was discussed in HHS. But I know that she has, her fellowship positions are ending at the end of June. So she did want to keep the positions kind of going, not necessarily for the people in those positions. She would still interview for them if we do indeed add these. I believe she does have the funding coming for the 2 positions. So this could be pending the funding approvals as well.
So this change is effective July 1st
Yeah.
after the ending of the fellowship program.
Yes,
So that's when the staffing pattern would change
yes,
effective.
yes.
There's some budget time.
It was on hold for budget time pending her money. So I believe she went to HHS with the funds So we may have to wait for finance again this way and pending how it turns out in finance to.
Jay was first.
Is this temporary funding that then we will have to budget for down the road when we create these two positions?
Possibly, yeah.
So we just.
Usually with
hire
grant
to
funded
fund-
positions, it would be.
Yeah, somehow, that
Sunset.
if you're gonna wanna create these positions, in my mind,
Sunset.
you gotta create them on the basis of funding being provided. And if sunset is the way to do it, then I so approve that.
Where I believe we did that for the sheriff, for a position that he had, where it would come back to committee when the funding's stopping, I guess, and then you could discuss it then. Where I could ask Tina to,
If you create positions, then it doesn't come back. How do you keep that straight?
Once the staffing pattern is changed,
Right.
that means that the position is
Is there.
budgeted.
Right,
You're
and
right.
so it automatically gets put in there, so somehow this, you gotta be,
So in public health.
This
it
is
was
where
the case
you
we
fit in,
couldn't
Dan.
get a pipeline to get the people qualified for the jobs. So this was a way going through
Yeah.
this process was to get people up to par that we could hire.
right,
Is it temporary to become permanent? I think,
Well, they're always hoping because otherwise they don't have people, you can't even get
well,
them.
the fellows took the position knowing that it was ending, so.
Yes.
So with the fellowship program not ending until the end of June, I don't think there's a big rush to go ahead and change the staffing pattern yet. I think we can wait, bring it to finance once we know we have the funding, and then bring it back to personnel to change the staffing pattern. You wanted to?
Yeah.
as long as we're not changing.
are there? Now I'm starting to come together with the fellowship program, so, are there anticipated retirements in that department? Remember, with the fellowship was to try to, yeah, we were looking for increase, help us increase with our workload and throughput and all that stuff, but it was also to grow interest in people that would take over and assume positions.
I believe one of the fellows, may be taking one of these positions if created.
Well,
believe that's
I
what Tina
mean,
mentioned.
aside from creating new positions, I'm talking about actually the fellows would go into.
So some of the ones that retired.
Existing staffing pattern.
I believe these two were created in case the fellows worked out in the department, where she's still going to interview them if these positions are passed,
Right,
to be able to fill these positions, but we don't foresee anybody leaving in public health right now, where the fellows could go in those positions. It's kind of like these positions would
Okay.
be that, yeah.
okay.
Yep.
That makes sense. I just wasn't sure where we were with the timing of that, strategy for continuity of operations.
Our four RNs are down to one RN and one RDM RN. If that gives you a. That's a fire.
She's hiring another one. She is in the process.
So
So I did go back,
So, Cassie,
my question is the decision you don't want us to make it now, or can I make a motion, or should I make a motion to say we tie it to the funding and sunset? Or do you want
I
us to
think
wait?
as far as tracking the positions, I think it's an easier transition if we actually fund it first and then change the staffing pattern to reflect the funding.
Because it's a July 1 day, there's no hurry.
Right.
right, but do we pass it in personnel that when the funding arrives, it goes automatic to finance, or do we bring it back to personnel? I think.
Right, and that's kind of the deal with the public defender too.
Yes, I think it's,
So like,
I
you
think
would
it's
have
a
to
smoother
wait,
road if you were to get the funding, pass it in finance first and then bring it to personnel personally. Otherwise, we're making notes and trying to change staffing patterns later.
So the motion would be to move to finance.
Which we won't.
move them both to finance and bring it back
The
to
motion would be
personnel in
to-
March.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
so I think, I lost track of who made the first motion.
Oh, yeah, we're still.
If they can withdraw that, then we move on to the next one.
I will withdraw that, for the sake of this new development.
Okay.
So I'll bring back those two in March after finance, if they pass. yes.
So
I'll have to.
we aren't gonna do anything as far as table, we're just gonna bring it back in March.
Right,
Is that right? Okay.
Okay,
So we don't need a motion to.
And maybe in April, and maybe in January. We'll give it after a while.
Social services.
So this was moved from HHS as well. It was a request to remove a social services examiner and add a clerk. The social services examiner position is a higher grade, so it would actually save them money. They don't feel that that position is needed and they need more of a clerical position in that area of their.
so moved.
I'll
Moved
second
by
that.
Daryl, seconded by Dave. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Now we're down to other.
So the county attorney requested a vacation rollover, which was moved out of government ops, and personnel committee approved. We would just need your vote for that. And we can move forward.
I'll move that.
Moved by Dan, do we have a second? So Jay and Daryl, is there any discussion? All in favor? Opposed, carried.
Similar, the sheriff asked for vacation rollover for the undersheriff, which was
Yes.
moved out of public safety.
Moved by Daryl, we have a second. Second by Cassie, is there any discussion? All in favor, aye? Opposed, carried. EMS,
Just quick, we have a special recognition coming up for the EMS coordinator at the February board meeting. He resigned his position and the chairman and I believe public safety will be recognizing him at the board meeting. There was an addition to the other part of our agenda. Real property, we would like to discuss possibly making the account clerk position a 40-hour position instead of a 35-hour position. It would help out with the new director as well as Lindsay's position is a 40-hour position, so it would have 3 people in the office with the 40 hours.
we approve that and move to finance?
It would
Because that
help
was
with
gonna
the
be one.
finance.
So moved by Brian, seconded by Cassie.
Discussion,
Yes,
what's the difference in cost and is it in the budget?
In the budget. 'cause
It would be with
they get so much.
breakage, yeah, with breakage, it would.
So many people out there.
what's the cost? I don't-
Yeah, I mean,
don't
what's the
have
difference?
the
I have no idea,
The breakage,
5 extra hours a week, times whatever the hourly rate is. But
Yeah.
right? I mean, we just voted on something with no idea of the cost.
I don't know why it was ever $35 in the first place.
Yeah.
That means at some point in time, the director or somebody has to go up, sit at the front desk and answer the phone, talk to people coming in, that's ridiculous. I don't know why,
yeah, this is more about philosophy than money, this one.
yeah. I can't imagine why they did that.
Well, and sometimes.
It's also makes it hard to read, this is why you keep losing them.
Yeah,
You got from here and then go get a 40-hour job.
but there was a time when there was people that wanted to work 35, so they could get here later and leave early or whatever.
Probably 18.
Things changed.
How many hours a week is real property open for? Are they open for 40?
8:30 to 4:30.
So it's more than 40 hours a week. Cause they're open even during the lunchtime.
That's still roughly $4,600. Roughly $4,600 a year increase.
Thank you. That's all. I have no problem.
all right, so we got a motion, discussed it. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, carried.
That is all that I have.
All right, does anyone else have anything else they want to discuss here before we move on to finance? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn. We're adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thanks. I'm very happy we waited and interviewed.
Yes.
I got.
I route that one out.
Yeah, go ahead.
About the state.
It's not too much double say the word communication.
I got one. Oh, wait, I got that.
You're doing a lot more. What are you doing? Yeah. Hope she lives up.
They're all slicked up.
Oh.
Yeah. They're all slicked up.
That's a fair use. Good interview.
I'll look at that.
I think I use it. Why does he? I was so close.
I know we're rolling.
Where you going, my chair?
Recognizing.
Yeah.
Chips.
Oh, okay.
You get anywhere to that email address? I give you?
Really?
No, I have no idea. I have to, yeah, my bag.
So we don't have TV yet. Holding out.
Oh, there.
Recognize that.
And maybe that, okay. The people aren't moving back into that now.
It's money you've been awarded for 24 or reimbursement request you put in. for reimbursement.
Way to go.
Yeah.
So
We've
the
been.
county on a rule basis, I would have to book.
I didn't read the meetings are part of
I
it.
mean, you want to stay consistent with it. So a lot of
In order, need to accept the minutes from January 11th by Dan, second by Daryl, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay, treasurer, monthly report.
I'll be quick at payments. I know you like it that way.
Yes.
So the good news is we started this year's sales tax with the $123 over this time last year. So that's encouraging because we weren't really sure, spending has slowed a little bit, but you gotta remember too, that this deposit, if I remember right, was from the Christmas season. So we knew Christmas sales were strong by all reports that we received. So this is the spillover from the Christmas seasons, which, like I said, by all reports was fairly decent. So we'll see if we can maintain that kind of trend.
You're not gonna sing Let the Good Times Roll? Or not?
I'm gonna say my favorite two words. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yes.
Because there wasn't a downturn this time, it makes me happy, but I can't tell you that there won't be. I know that the market reacted really poorly when the Fed didn't move the interest rates, so we'll kind of see how that plays into consumer confidence going forward. Cash balance as always, just to show you where we are in our cash position. I find that it's important if you're gonna sit on the audit committee that you know that we have enough money to pay our bills. So reporting the cash to you, I think is important. On the budget to actual, we're still reporting to you 2023 because we're so early into 2024 that the numbers really are skewed because you booked your whole $37 million of taxes up front. So it looks like you're doing really well when that's kind of true representation of where we are. So I will tell you, there's a couple of notes on the general fund that I think you should know. But right now, if you look at general fund, it's showing about a $9.5 million loss. And I know you've been listening to me and Mr. Campbell will tell you that we're 3 million over in sales tax and a million under in personal services, so why aren't we $4 million to the good? So there's a couple things in play. We took about $5.8 million in 2024. It was 2023 surplus money and sent it out to the barn capital project and paid for the voting machines. So that $5.8 million eats into your $4 million surplus rather quickly. And the mental health claim that I do only once a year, it's done in March. That claim is for about $3.4 million this year. So that'll add another 3.4 into the revenues. So you'll be, that chops that back down to about break even. And we've still got a month's worth of DSS claims, which is anywhere from 1.5 to 2 million. And there will be one large public health claim that usually runs 800 to 900,000. So we're really close to that $3 million that we thought was going to be the surplus. Like I said, it was 3 million in sales tax and about $1.1 million in payroll breakage. Even the payroll breakage is a little deceiving because we amended the budget for some of the grants for public health and sheriff that were multi-year grants, but we recognize the whole grant up front. So it looks like you have a $2.9 million surplus in personal services because of those adjustments. So when I look at it, I look at it just your adopted budget, and that's the 1.1. That's the real number that you can count on. And if you don't mind me jumping ahead of the agenda, the last thing in your packet was some guidance. If you haven't seen it, and I don't know if this was released at the town levels, we have our first distribution from the adult use cannabis. So there is one active in Washington County for the period of September, October, November. It's the reporting period that we're currently in for this deposit. So their quarters aren't the same as our quarters. So there was one licensed dispensary in the village of Granville. So we received $1,600-ish from that. I don't know how long it's been in operation, but I understand it's only a couple days a week. So if there are other ones that have come online since November, they would be in the next deposit. The way that works is the county retains 25% of the monies. Excuse me, and the other 75% is then split between the town and the village unless they opted out, which the town of Granville actually did opt out. So the 75% of the deposit I have will go all to the village of Granville.
Sorry, Nick.
Mr. Okay, sorry.
Where's the dispenser?
So the one that we have right now that I got the money for is on Main Street in Granville in the old bank.
So First National Bank. Yeah, it's where the clock.
And I don't know if it's a dispensary of sort or if it's just a place that legally sells cannabis products.
It's like a dispensary, wholesaler.
Cafe is one where you. Right? And that's the end of.
But
What do they call the one in Greenwich that, they're on the corner by the red light that they sell?
Were they licensed?
And that's at a dispensary, that's called something else? That's a different,
I don't think it's set up like a dispensary. But I think in a dispensary, you have to go in and show what.
is that where your card is? Where you have to have a card
And
for
a
a
dispensary.
dispensary?
Her, she sent stuff for dogs. We buy stuff for his dog. Yeah, this is CBD
Cannabis
oil.
prevents
I don't think that
Right,
has.
so this isn't
I
the
think
CBD.
James bought it for her dog.
No.
This is the natural
This
cannabis.
is the actual.
Now, how do you, isn't it still all like cash? It has to be cash sales, so how do they track that in the state?
There's reporting requirements to the state. I don't know what they are.
Right.
There's an actual department at the state level.
Andy
that
bought that
handles
one, that one really, that
all of
one.
that.
I don't think they can take credit cards and checks.
It's still federally illegal, so, right.
I have a question that's
Yes.
unrelated.
That's fine.
Back to the cash.
Yes, sir.
It says on the bottom fourth. So BFN through cash students. They've got over 5.10%.
Yes, sir.
Why is it dated 8/31?
That was the last time that they changed the interest rate for me. They haven't dropped it, which I'm thankful for because
So
the
we're
market has.
5.1 on our cash and open savings.
Yes, yes. So I try to transfer as much as possible. You'll see the sheet has 4 million in general. The day after the sheet, that 4 million wasn't in that account. So we do try to maximize how much is in that check. Yeah.
Same.
And all the money that we have saved for the barns and all that, that's all been sitting right in that account, so you'll have the advantage of, earning some extra money on that. One of the notes that I had, I'm glad you actually asked the question, because I think that I had, 952,000 was the amount of interest that we got over budget for 23.
Over budget.
Yeah, 952 by being able to invest the money somewhere else.
Yeah, the town of Putnam, we have a little over 30.
Yes. So it does
Extra.
help.
The rates get richer up in Putnam.
Yeah.
They do everywhere.
Everywhere. We got potholes.
And I can testify to that.
We may even have some in our paper. Okay.
There's only one dirt road in Kingsbury and I drove it.
You wanna help out with that?
Oh,
right.
Well, I don't know if she's gonna be able
You
Okay.
want, I
You
would
want me
be
to,
for interest.
to. We're gonna go to the next one,
Would
which
you want me to
is.
go back to number 2, or do you want to come
I
back? to
got
that?
40,000
Oh,
off
we're
of me,
next,
but
and I'll finish yours.
Put that in the resolution.
Yeah, that should be, yes.
Yes.
it's the solar.
Well, we're gonna jump, with your indulgence, I want to jump ahead to resolution. It's on it, really.
Orient barn, D.
Is that the one you want? Nope. Delta, no Delta, see? They might not be in here. We're coming from Larry, so they might not be in the packet. It's in here. You haven't seen them yet, okay, excellent.
On,
So we're getting ready to, what, Brian?
well, I don't think we can do it on yet because we put delay, right?
No, we need the resolutions
We
in
need
place.
the resolution. Yeah.
So I'm still gonna ask for the 2 resolutions that I needed regardless of the, when we pull the trigger.
Okay.
So we've already done the secret resolution last year for the Fort Ann barn. So what I need from you now are 2 things. I need the actual borrowing resolution that will authorize $15 million in, borrowing as a maximum amount, not to exceed. And the reason it's 15 million is we have 5 million of ARPA set aside, so we wanted to build that 5 million into the borrowing resolution. That was under the advice of bond counsel, so that, you actually have the borrowing authority of 10 million when all said and done, which is what we want, even if, we don't use it, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and have to come back to you a second time.
Back, yeah.
Right, so there'll be on Friday, you'll see a borrowing resolution authorizing $15 million project with borrowing not to exceed 10 million. That I would need a resolution.
Okay, have a motion?
Yeah.
Move it, second. Cassie, any discussion?
Just so I understand this, you're borrowing for both the town and the county, correct?
Yes,
And now, does the county take full responsibility? How's it worded?
stay tuned.
Stay tuned, okay. I
We
withdraw
gotta
my
figure
question.
out what that is. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The
Opposed?
second resolution is a resolution authorizing me to execute an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Fort Ann for the purposes of borrowing.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Darrell, second by Chad.
That was better, doesn't it?
And what will happen is that intermunicipal agreement will basically say that we will each pay the debt service in the proportion that we borrow. So if we borrow 10%, they borrow 90, that's how the interest and principal payment will be split. If they borrow 100 and we borrow 0, that's how the interest and principal will be split.
And can you, in the same resolution, can you put what the ratio is of the debt owed by, or what, however you word
It will be
it, our
proportionate,
shares?
it will be proportionate to the amount borrowed.
No,
Yes,
if we don't borrow anything in the town of,
then it's 100% of the town.
right, but what is, is it gonna cost 15 million and isn't there a share that's the town and the share it's the county?
But we're gonna pay cash.
We're gonna pay cash probably.
I understand, but there's still
So
gotta
on
be a
the bonding
ratio
part,
of the
it'll
cost.
be
If they
$100.
If they borrow 6 million and we borrow 0, they will pay 100% of the debt service.
The 6 million.
Right, and I'm not arguing.
Okay,
What's the cost of the barn? That's my question.
10 million, we think,
You
Don't know,
think,
you gotta get the.
but isn't there a ratio?
60-40.
There, that's what I wanted in,
That agreement's already in.
that's all I wanted
Okay.
to tie it all
I'm
together.
with you
Well, I
now.
don't think they get tied
I'm
together.
struggling to get that information,
I don't think they will be
No,
tied together.
that's all, and I think,
Different question, and I understand the question.
okay,
The costs of the barn are currently agreed upon, but 60-40.
there,
So on a $10 million barn, they all have 6, we'll
Yeah.
have 4. In a perfect world, we won't borrow anything, but the bids are coming in at the end of this month. We'll see.
that was all clear. It was
Yeah,
a
okay.
60-40 I was trying to get out.
Gotcha.
It's just
I'm
not
with you.
gonna be in that resolution.
The IMA's gonna have
That's different from the borrowing.
As long as you got it somewhere, it's in a
Yeah.
resolution.
Yes, sir, we
We've
do.
already did that.
Yeah, that one's already locked and loaded.
We've done a lot of things over the years that we don't remember.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye,
Opposed, carried.
thank you. Yes,
One
sir.
question, or one statement to make, so everybody kind of puts in the back of their head. So, living the dream already, right? It carried, the conversation on split and cost sharing also carries into insurance. Something we haven't done a good job of, up at our end of the county is understanding what percentage of insurance, because the town buys insurance based on everything, right? So it's kind of hard to get the line item for the barn, the facility itself. And also, you know, so you can understand, is there a cost share to insurance? So just going forward, Fordan, and yourself, when those come into play, we gotta think about those things as well, because the insurance can be significant.
So those are in the 40N agreement. So if you need us to look at the Putnam one, that would be a different conversation. Those operational costs are built into the 40N agreement.
Yeah, the operational costs are in there. I'm talking about insurance for the structure itself.
I've asked Northern to break that out for us.
Yep.
Thank you.
So
I have
yeah,
to.
There'll be a separate cost just for that barn that they will incur the responsibility.
Yeah, thank you. I've asked too. I haven't got anything back yet, but I've asked.
Dana Hogan might want to review
It's in the email with, Northern.
Insurance out of the barn.
Because up to this
Share.
point, the county has benefited in Putnam, because Putnam's paid the full amount of insurance.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's
that. Well noted, thank you.
You've got the president.
I would recommend that.
Had a good idea, Randy.
Back to Dana, share the well. Say again?
Another one county road, Putnam anyway.
No,
New dates.
Are you
there's
done?
actually 3.
Okay.
I think those are the 2 that I need.
Okay. We're under county
Well,
administrator.
2 of them.
We're ready for you.
You on it? Okay. So, all right, my item on the agenda is retiree Medicare Advantage Plan. For those that are not aware, Washington County offers the retirees Medicare Advantage Plan for those that are eligible, and that plan is Humana. That plan runs from January 1st to December 31st. In the news, recently, there has been a lot of reports that Albany Med and its affiliates, which include Glens Falls Hospital and Saratoga Hospital, could potentially become out of network for the Humana members in upcoming months. So this has caused a lot of retirees to call the county, as well as calling Benetech, because they're a little worried, to say the least, that their health insurance will not be covered by the local hospitals. So the treasurer, personnel officer, lead budget officer, myself have been in talks with Benetech about this subject. And Benetech has put out a bid to other carriers and came back with Anthem being the lowest price for the exact same benefits, very comparable benefits. So there shouldn't be any difference for the retirees themselves, other than, you know, there may be slight differences with formularies, but that's the case no matter what health insurance we offer. So what this would mean is a significant decrease to county costs. And I thought I had them out. Yes, it's a savings of almost $290,000 from May 1st until December. And it would also mean some kind of decrease to the retiree. With also, you know, the feeling that they will have the coverage, which should put them more at ease. So Anthem, if you're not aware, is one of the largest networks in the county. So there should not be any issue as far as hospitals accepting their coverage or affiliates accepting the coverage. I do want to mention that even though we're going to see a decrease this year by switching to Anthem, we were told by Benetech to expect a significant increase next year. And it's not just with the retiree health insurance, it's going to be with the health insurance across the board. So I just wanted everyone to be a little aware of that and expect that. So what I was looking from the committee was for approval to contract with Anthem. It would be effective May 1st. And also to authorize the chairman to sign the contract with Anthem. The actual change from Humana to Anthem will be very easy. It should be very easy for our retirees. They won't have to enroll, they won't have to do anything. All that's going to be done behind the scenes and they'll receive their new cards.
I'll make that motion.
Second, Mr. Clary. Any discussion?
Just have a discussion on that. And do we know if Anthem applied for the bid into for the product back when we first went out this year?
We
didn't bid it.
Yeah, I don't think we bid it. We've been with Humana for several years now.
And they've been so happy with it.
And the
that we
cost
did
has
not
been-
bid it.
Yeah.
Because they'd been the cheapest right along, but we didn't bid it the last time just because they've been so happy with them.
I just didn't know, you know, if Bentek had reached out there, if it could be this cheap now, why it couldn't have been that much less expensive then, if the coverage was gonna be the same. Especially with everything going up. I'm just a little skeptical of Bentek.
Well, I think
We didn't ask him to.
Okay,
right,
that's fair.
Yeah, we asked him to bid the active insurance every year.
Yep.
But the retirees insurance, we only bid, every 3 to 5 maybe.
Gotcha. That's fair. I just
Yeah.
didn't know that.
No, you're correct though. Had this been a big year, it may have reflected that. Yeah.
and there's been such a change in the health insurance.
understand.
And to where now the hospitals are controlling the cost to the insurance company, so the insurance company controlling the cost to the hospital. It's changed everything, and that's why you're seeing the rates go out of, you know.
But, and that's why, because of that fact, it's surprisingly somebody can come in that much less. Because they've got the same, unless they're looking at our different rates that we're using, you know, the ratio recent people are using the coverage and that kind of stuff.
And this is one of those items you remember when we start issuing waivers to department heads that sometimes waivers aren't good because we want the bid things.
Absolutely. Gotcha. Not being critical, just.
No,
the
understood.
ration in my head.
Yep, what's our other question? Got a vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Second item was the opioid funds. We had presentations that came to Health and Human Services. Health and Human Services had approved the recommendations set forth for use of the opioid funds. We then mentioned them at public safety. So now my request is to take the funds from the opioid budget lines and move it to the departments that are actually going to be using those funds for these programs.
Is that resolution 8?
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Resolution nine.
Yes.
I'm moving.
I'll second.
Moved by Patsy, by Darrell. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Oh, got one knocked off.
And then the second one was to carry over the unspent septic grant funds from 2023 to 2024.
Moved by Dan, second by Cassie. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Job.
That it?
I'm done.
You good, huh? We're ahead of the budget amendment, which we already see. You authorize the chairman to enter an agreement to purchase, the sale of real property
So
in
moved.
California.
Second.
By Darrell, second by Cassie. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution D, amend capital project 125 for additional engineering.
So moved, yeah.
Wait there, I'll second by Cassie. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution E, capital project number 130, barn repairs or replacements for project construction management for the barn.
So moved.
Moved by Darrell, second by Cassie. Any discussion on that one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution F, capital project 125, St. Paul's roof project. Moved by Sam, second by Kathy. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution G, to amend the county clerk budget to carry over unspent local government records.
Move it.
Moved by Cassie, second by Darrell. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Planning budget for contracted services, resolution number H.
Move it.
Moved by Dan, second by Sam. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution I is tourism carryover unspent.
Move it.
Moved by Cassie, second by Sam, and so discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. J, to amend the county attorney workers' comp fund budgets for safety officer expenses.
Move it.
Moved by Cassie, is there a second? Moved by Sam, or second by Sam. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, sewer district budget, number 2, carryover of unspent ESC capital planning grant money. Moved by Mr. Fisher, second by Cassie. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution L is to amend the budget capital project number 114, so district number 2, the W2A grant award. Moved by Sam, second by Cassie. Any discussion, Mr. Noah?
I just wanted to take a second to thank the director because he won't, out of humility, humbleness, whatever you call him, he won't take credit for this. This resolution is completely thanks to the administration down at the sewer district. He went through a lot of the records down there, made some phone calls to EFC, found out some of the scoring that they had done was wrong. So when they were rescored, these monies became eligible, is my understanding. So I really wanted to thank them for really being aggressive and digging in on this. It's $6.3 million that we're gonna borrow.
Yeah, I think Tim makes a good point. I mean, I really think the group that worked on getting this guy hired, that, you know, they didn't balk at the price. They said, we need this guy, and this guy stepped to the plate and done the job. That's greatly appreciated.
Ernest paycheck.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Hey, Al, is that grant money? That is, in other words, you don't get the money and then work off from it. As you spend it, you apply for it, right?
Right, so the way EFC works, I'll keep this really brief because they frustrate me. So you spend the money, you spend $6 million and you send them all the backup that you spent $6 million and they say, thank you. We're gonna front you this much in borrowing and this much in grant. They decide how much they're gonna float you in borrowing money and how much in grant money, and I'm not really sure that there's a rhyme or reason. But at the end of the project, it will come out in the end, but how they split it during the project is aggravating.
But this took a lot out of what needed to be
But this
borrowed.
took a lot out of what
into the
needed.
grant.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I was just wondering how it worked. God. Thank you.
Nobody really truly knows.
The Bill doesn't know. Does he?
Okay, resolution M. Proceeds, on same type of deal. By Cassie, second by Mr. Fisher. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, carried. Resolution N, amendment to capital project number 114, for district number 2, LTCP concrete contract change order.
I'll move that.
Moved by Darrell, second. Cassie, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution O, public health budget to carry over unspent early intervention grant.
So moved.
Moved by Daryl, second by Cassie. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution B, the public health budget carry over of unspent ELC funds.
So moved.
Moved by Daryl, second by Cassie. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution Q, to amend public health budget to carry over unspent public health core fellowship grant funds.
So moved.
Moved by Daryl, second by Cassie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution R. Amend public health budget to carry over unspent COVID-19 vaccine response.
Move it.
Moved by Cassie,
Second.
second by Daryl.
Yes,
All in
you
favor,
said
say
it the
aye.
other way.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution S. Carry over unspent preparedness grant funds.
Move it.
Moved by Cassie, seconded by Daryl. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Everybody else can jump right in.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution T, to amend the public health budget to carry over a safety grant. Sam, second. Yes, sir. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. U is gonna be public health budget for public health infrastructure, workforce, and data systems grant.
So,
Second.
yeah.
Moved by Daryl, second, Cassie. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The only footnote that I wanted to make the board aware of is I, asked public health to submit this one with just 1 year's worth, so this is a 5-year grant. So rather than skewing the budget like I talked about during my report at the beginning of the meeting and having all 5 years here and then showing a big surplus, I asked them to break out just 1 year at a time. So this is 1 year's worth of the grant, and it's a 5-year.
So
5-year
four more
project.
times, you'll see it.
But the second whereas is year
This is-
two.
This is year 2 of a 5-year.
Got it.
So rather than throwing the whole 700,000 or whatever at you and looking like a big surplus, I asked them to just present you 1 year's worth of this cost.
So we don't create a bubble.
So that was carried. Resolution V, DFS for foster care recruitment initiative. Okay. Moved by Mr. Fisher, second by Mr. Hogan. Any discussion?
I like your shirt.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution W. ARPA funds, foster care and daycare service.
Oh.
Move it.
Moved by Sue, second by Cassie. All in favor,
Not
say
here. Oh, okay. I'm invisible. Oh, the second time.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. X, amend DSS budget for adult protection services grant.
Oh, yeah.
Move it.
Moved by Cassie, second by Sam. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Y is budget to carry over unspent road communities with practice phase 3 grant youth bureau alternative sentencing. Moved by Sam. Second by Tim Fisher.
Oh, that's right.
You're on this time. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Z is youth bureau for pretrial PCJS funds. Moved by Cassie, second by Daryl.
Yep.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Well, we're now through the alphabet, so we're to double A. Mental health budget to carry over unspent and accepted additional opioid settlement funds. Move it. Second by Sam, second by
That one discussion. How
Yep.
many years can we carry this thing over?
What's that?
How many years can we carry these over?
as long as it keeps coming.
Okay.
The county, we chose to reserve them, so we'll see what community services board chooses to do with theirs. I think he's looking to get RFPs and get the money out the door.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's getting added to all the time.
So ours is getting little scheduled deposits. The money that community services board gets it, they'll give this resolution, they're one-time deposits by the state.
By the state. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. AB is sheriff to carry over unspent body worn camera grant.
I'll move that one.
I'll second.
Second by Cass. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Resolution AC, county fund budget for Lake Champlain Basin program grant. Moved by, Second by Dave Skelly. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. AD is purchase of Softco civil software via Sourcewell contract.
Sure.
Moved by Sam, second by Cassie, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, carried. AE is urging New York State legislators to advocate on behalf of SUNY Community College, increase funding for the community college. Susan, moved by Susan, second by Sam. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Think we'll get anywhere with this?
Usually not.
I'd like to go back to S, and only because it's, I saw it on several different resolutions. When the money goes in on S, it's just at the bottom of the page there, 22,400 goes into contingency. Does that get brought up to committee again? Or once it's put in there, we just approve that carte blanche to be spent by the department?
So contingency goes into general fund.
Contingency to general fund.
Oh, goes in, so it's got to go through finance to come out of there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
And when the salaries in the grant have already been budgeted.
Yep. Very good.
Mr. Campbell likes it in contingency, I like it in fund balance.
Well, I like it in fund balance, it's just, you're stingy, you're getting it out when we need it.
Exactly.
They get there eventually. It
Yeah,
usually does.
anyway.
That's exactly your point, right?
It's exactly.
Sometimes easier than it should is the problem.
Pay me now or pay me later.
Okay, we're gonna cut that.
Nice job to use the carte blanche.
I wouldn't want to just go to other.
What's that? We're on the other now.
No, you have the, well, it's in the contract.
Oh, the lead food
Are
pantry.
you the main?
I was thinking there was a amendment. Right, there's not printed for it.
I'm just saying.
There's none in the packet.
I don't
Okay,
know what you're doing.
That's the end of the.
okay. So the lead food contract, food pantry contract, $20,000. So we had this discussion yesterday. Do you wanna surprise everybody in that discussion?
Yeah, we had follow-up conversations with the director of LEAP, just to get some more explanation as far as their budget and the reason for the increase. After that discussion and clarification, I guess we're looking for a 1-year contract with LEAP to run the food pantry. It is at an additional amount of $20,000, so there'd be a total of $42,000. But we would need to come up with that $20,000.
Oh, contingency.
To use carte.
So we would be looking for approval to sign that contract with LEAP and for the chairman to sign the contract.
And so we need a motion, a second, and then we'll have discussion.
Motion.
By
I'll
Sam,
second.
second by Stu. And Scott. Go ahead.
What are our options?
Well, so it's very interesting. I think first is to get out the total picture, because we didn't really get it until yesterday. So they had like 6,900 like budgeted for food. They're already over 12,000 for the year, which ends in March, the last day of March. And whenever this got split out, I think it was in 2020, they told us. The money that they were getting a pot of money, the county was getting a pot of money. And when DSS got out of the business, it wasn't transferable, our pot of money, but I guess it was up to LEAP to ask for more money. Because the need would have still been the same or more, because especially the way things have gone. We don't know exactly whether they asked, didn't ask, but either way, they didn't get it. So now they're gonna go back and see if there's a way to ask for more, because it's been a problem. But she did continue to tell us that she would like the thing to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
That she doesn't wanna have to come to us for money for this at all. So she's expecting the number at budget time to even be less than what this adds up to now. And she'd eventually like to make some of that go away. I don't know exactly where that's gonna go, but we asked them to, come up with a plan by budget time to figure that out. We also had talked with Tammy to see if there was any interest in how they might work with them or do it themselves. come up with a plan, but, so by budget time, this will come up again. But my concern's always been, are we just spending money or are we enabling the tool to get bigger? I think we should be helping and feed people that actually need, you know, you don't want people to starve to death, you wanna get them back on their feet, there's no question about that. And they have different parameters, like when DSS does it, you have to meet certain criteria, when LEAP does it, you just have to be hungry. And it's like 3 days food supply, it's a whole different parameter than what usually comes from DSS.
Yeah, my concern was that we were into a step increase year over year, and I'm like,
No, when I wondered that too, but she took it a whole different direction, so we just need to hear what that is going forward.
What I heard in the meeting, I thought about this afterwards, was that, because of the homelessness situation, the increase has gotten greater, they get different types of food, because most people are put up into, facilities that don't have kitchens or something, so they have to
Refrigerators.
actually look at different packaging of food. That being said, didn't we receive money for homelessness? Was the $900,000 safety net amount, something through DSS? Could that 20,000 come from that homelessness pool of money? Because it's the direct result of when you house them, you also need to feed them.
It's worth looking at, but you gotta remember when we adopted her budget, when we adopted Tammy's budget, Tammy probably had a way that was being spent. So I don't know that you'd take 20,000 and change the way she's spending money. I guess that would be my concern, but certainly worth a good ask.
It's early enough in the year that I would actually respectfully ask the board to consider tabling this for a month to let us get together with the executive director and the finance officer. I still have several questions on the numbers that I'd really like some better, some more, I want to drill down into the numbers a little bit better for you so that I can intelligently speak to the actual costs of the food pantry. Because the sheets that we were given, it only shows the county contribution. It doesn't show their food bank contribution. Some of the line items that are in here are costs that are spread across the agency and not direct costs. So I want to really, I'd really like to present you a financial output, and it may show, the same answer. But I'd like to be comfortable with the numbers that you're given, and respectfully ask you to consider maybe kicking this till March. And it's early enough in the year that one more month won't.
I think and I think we could, but I think their term ends the end of March. They want their books balanced by the end of March. So I think that's kind of where they were at, but that doesn't mean we couldn't go 1 month.
And we did get more of an
And we
explanation
did get the
yesterday, but I do
total-
apologize if I didn't share that with
Well, I
you. I
wasn't
did
here,
share it
so-
with,
Right.
yeah, I did email it, to some of the supervisors that were involved in the conversation, but I may not have shared it with you, so I apologize.
And Emily did tell us all the different, she went through line by line.
There are a lot of allocated costs that are LEAP costs across the board that they do allocate to all the programs. So that is correct. And she did clarify that. Things such as insurance expenses, training and travel, even bank fees, marketing and website fees, all of that across the board is allocated little by little to all the programs. So it does increase the cost by, quite a bit of amount.
Mr. Chairman, based on the request of the treasurer, and having an experience with LEAP myself for years now, I'd like to withdraw my motion and have it tabled.
What's
yeah,
the board?
yeah,
'Cause I think a month isn't a problem. I think they
There
just
would
want
be
it
still
done.
time to make them whole
That's what I'm thinking.
if the numbers pan out. And
Yeah, we discussed here again.
yeah, I'd bring it back to finance next month. Supervisor.
Or actually, who do they?
Start back at
answer to?
HHS probably.
That's what I was gonna say. I think we'd start back at the regular meeting. Get all the facts out. I think that's good.
Health and Human Services, we'll come back to finance.
Because what I want you to know as a board on the funding side is if they say that it costs $45,000 to run the food pantry, how much of those costs would they have tomorrow still if the door is closed? Those indirect costs, I want to be able to separate for you the indirect and the direct. So I want you to be able to see what it actually costs to run the food pantry and what they would have tomorrow, even if the food pantry wasn't here. Then if you still choose to fund the extra 20,000, fantastic, but at least you have the transparency, you have all the numbers that you need.
We know exactly what we're funding.
You know exactly what you're
Right.
funding. Because you may want to fund the other parts of their organization that is spread across the books for as an accounting exercise. You may want to fund only what that food pantry
Food pantry
costs.
cost is. Right.
So
And that'll be your choice to.
and I think the biggest concern I have is they probably have to make everything balance at the end of the year.
So, right, and I
And
don't,
it probably
and I'm
will.
not
No,
questioning for
no,
numbers.
and I'm not finding fault, because
Yeah.
I think that's the right way to go about
It
it.
is.
But I think at the same time, the price of food's gone up. The number they gave us was only 6,900, they're well over 12, that is in this year.
Right.
So that they've been running behind over time, and they've had to make it up. So if you think about 2020, we gave away food at the fair, 2020, right? The regional food bank actually sent trailer loads of food that we gave away. And then there was extra money and extra grant money. But as COVID wound down, all that went away, plus our county funds went away. So it probably is a bigger concern than we know, but it was because of that lapse. And if they can get it back, I would hate to put them in a position where they couldn't get it back because we didn't support them. But, and there may be other ways
And I
to
don't
do
want
it.
that either.
Right.
I want you to have the
But I
numbers.
think drilling down and looking is a good idea.
Leave is both state and federally funded.
I'm not in the lead board.
They might be all federal.
Would be all federal. There's state, they do have state money that flows there. I can't tell you without him breaking it down,
Yeah,
if they have state money just going into that, John, to be honest with you. It could be all federal dollars to use it for that.
the workforce development money is state money flow, but it's
Full-
federal money flowed through the state. Head Start is all federal, CDBG is federal. But even their state money might be federal money through the state,
Through the
but
state, I believe.
I don't remember exactly, Mr. Roselle.
If you have a
It's like
two
my
letter,
first, it's like my first day here.
if you have a 2 letter name like Al, you can remember that.
So once upon a time, I had a real handle on their budget because I was on their board, and I've been away from it for a while. But I believe that it's a lot of federal money, almost all federal money, if not all.
Well, I do know that we get to lead kids at our rep center. And their pay way above. I mean, they're getting $50 an hour. And I'm trying to survive above minimum wage right now. And that doesn't add up to 20, so how are we gonna, it's pretty hard to explain to somebody that comes in for $20.
So,
You can't hire or fire, it's given to you and be happy.
Right,
so some of that money is monies that they don't have the luxury of saying, we're not gonna give it because it comes in from the feds. And it's what do you call it now?
Like the sub-youth employment TANF money
Yes,
is.
that's money, so that comes in and they say, this is what you gotta use it for. Personnel,
They gotta use it for that much.
whatever.
they might set the
whatever-
rate.
Yeah, whatever.
They
rate-
might pay back and I can't.
I know.
Double Big Mac.
Okay, so let's take, the first thing I wanted to mention, I know Deb sent it, and I heard it's the 31st, Adirondack local, or Adirondack Park Review Government Board, whatever it's called. There'll be I think I'll bring it to our, full board on Friday, the resolution to, in favor of St. Lawrence County for their, cell towers. And, well, they're actually communication towers for EMS. And it was a very interesting meeting because what we're talked about that we can do in our county, we have private groups that can do it. And in the Adirondack Park, because they're so battered by the rules there, the county actually has to pay totally. So I think I'll just bring that same resolution forward to support St. Lawrence County on that if everyone so well chooses, and I'll try to get it in the packet for the meeting Friday. And then we have Smartdale's got one.
There was one that Deb sent me on late Tuesday afternoon.
It's a Marchicelli resolution for paving project on County Route 37, Burgoyne Avenue. 80-20 split for $3,076,000.
I called Deb Donahue on that, and she said she's gonna bring it to her committee.
Oh, okay. So she said that with the second one, and she didn't say it with this one. There was a second one.
There's a second one too, yeah.
Second one, she said she was bringing it to me, and she didn't say anything else. She said
Okay,
what
I'm
she
not
bring
sure
out.
then, I thought it was.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out myself.
You were on the email too.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't send me this one originally. She sent it to you guys, and she sent us all the second.
Yeah.
She has two now.
Right.
Yeah,
And
So
Green
it's-
Lane is coming next month. For
Yeah.
sure.
right.
Yeah, I'm not quite.
So is this one is timing an issue, so we need to move this one to the full board?
I think they're gonna find out from Deb after this meeting.
Have to check with Deb Donahue.
Right.
And wait.
I didn't want anybody not to know about it. Okay. And if we can't wait, it will come in our packet. And you'll see it as a. Yeah, I've written, somebody will sponsor it, we'll file. Very good.
I mean, I can sponsor.
So with our authorization resolution, she needs those because they let her bids for her. She doesn't let her own bids. So we'll just check the timing of that to see if it's for bid purposes.
Yeah, I'll sponsor it. I can give her a call later on. and we'll figure it out.
Oh, you're gonna meet, you said that. Did you guys say you were gonna meet later and find out? Debbie was gonna talk to her later.
I'll follow up with her on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to ask for clarification in the future when she sends it to the county attorney on whether or not they have to come directly to
Well,
finance.
yeah, the
or-
second, the second,
Because that's where
that was
the
my
confusion
question the
is,
first
yeah.
time, was like, where to have to get, you know?
And it could be-
go to
it could be
public works,
timing.
so-
I just maybe wrongfully assumed they were gonna flow through committee at the end of the month, and she was just letting me know. So I didn't know I didn't know there was a.
He receives them, she hits forward.
Yep.
That's all it is.
I just wanted to be sure if there was a timing issue, somebody saw.
Okay.
Very good. Is there anything else coming before us? Are we good?
Brian, do you have to do the real property account for 35 to 40 or senior?
Yes,
Personnel
we talked
too?
about that. We do it, yes.
Personnel?
Move personnel. Motion to go from 35 to 40, by Sam, second. Sufficient. Any questions on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you, Deb.
Thanks, yeah.
Catching up.
Let us get away with that.
I got it.
You thought I remembered.
You know what?
Okay, so we all good? We're adjourned? Adjourned, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.